Hey, my name is Alexander Thambert, and welcome to this video presentation of my work for the assignment Stardew Valley. For this project, we were tasked with creating a complete gameplay experience with focus on learning how to blueprint script for proper implementation in a real game. The specs were as follows. We needed 3 different zones, a home base where you can upgrade buildings and grow resources, an exploration zone where you collect resources to build stuff, and an adventure zone where combat is featured, like the mines in Stardew Valley. We needed a day and night cycle. We needed 2 resource loops, for example seeds that when grown can be harvested and you get another seed and some resources you can restart the loop with. We needed to have the ability to upgrade at least 2 different buildings in 3 stages. We required there to be 4 different resource materials to be used up on things. There had to be 1 enemy, and there had to be at least 1 type of weapon. We were provided with a base template with a bunch of things pre-prepared, including the advanced locomotion system implemented. I will highlight things that I added or made significant changes to, as well as go through the level design and explain my thought process. The game loop I had in mind while creating this project goes like this. A new day dawns. The player can harvest the resources planted yesterday. They can also plant what seeds they get, but they will not grow until night. They then head out into the latest exploration area they've unlocked and start collecting. When night falls, the flower men comes out to play. Night will not stop as long as they are around. So now you need to battle your way through the enemies to locate the sun altar. Interacting with the sun altar will make the flower men go away, and morning will finally arrive and all the planted seeds will finally grow and the cycle starts over. Here we have the starting hub. This is the home base for my adventure. Not much of a base right now, but that can be fixed with some gathering. The 2 buildings that can be upgraded are 1. The main house. The idea being the more you upgrade the main house, the more areas you have the tools to unlock. And number 2. The shed over here. Your main tool of self-defense during the night is a magic wand, and its power is supposed to be directly linked to this building. On the first day, I've provided the player with enough resources to upgrade 1 building, because I want to teach the player what some of the valuable resources are, and how they get highlighted, before I send them out into the world. The layout is inspired by my grandmother's house, where I spent many summers when younger. The first thing you will come across when entering the exploration zone is a flower bush that is too high up for the player to reach from here. This is to quickly establish what sort of area this is, one where getting 2 resources in weird places is the primary objective. Explore around a bit and you will get to this situation, some platforming. If you fall into the waters, there's a simple respawn system. To set it up, I added a respawn point ref variable on the player and created checkpoints that update said variable, and an out of bounds plane that when you touch sends the player to the place and the rotation of the currently saved respawn point. As you continue to explore around, you will find more opportunities for small platforming challenges. The area as a whole is inspired in layout by the small forest that is in the village I grew up in. I believe taking something you're familiar with as a starting point is very helpful, and just twisting and massaging it until it accomplishes the design goal you had in mind for your gameplay experience. Night will fall soon-ish, so I will head back to the home base. I will take this upper path back, one you can only get glimpses of from below, and it will lead me back to the flower bush that I saw at the very start of the zone. I will now go back to the base and upgrade it with the resources I gathered, and also plant the seeds I collected, but they will not grow until a condition is met. And that condition is that dawn is starting, and it's not as simple as it sounds, as when night falls in these lands, it sticks around. This is where I have the big thing I didn't manage to figure out / implement in time. I wanted a second character to come out at night as the Speederman went to sleep, a creature that calms the forest and purges it from its dangers. Instead, we will continue as Speederman to show the nighttime. As night falls, the daytime manager dispatches that info, and all of the flowerman spawners I've added around the level activates, spawning one enemy each, a flower person. We now need to combat our way through the enemies, the flowermen, and reach the sun altar and interact with it to bring back the day. Here we've reached the area where the sun altar is this time. It's the ruins of a long-lost civilization that fell to the threat of the flowermen. For combat, I made several changes. Firstly, I wanted a ranged and melee attacks to be on the same weapon, and secondly, I wanted a dash. The melee primarily got changed by creating a new animation overlay in Unreal, as I did not like the default one that basically stun locks the player in place for well over a second. I much prefer a higher mobility, and to really strive for this I also added a dash function. The pistol we got was changed into a wand that fires explosive orbs. If they hit their target, they deal roughly 600 damage, and if it flies for about half a second without hitting anything, it spawns several less damaging orbs that will travel for another bit before they explode. This means if you have a priority target, you want to directly hit it, but if AoE is your goal, you want to deliberately miss the targets by like a small amount. The enemies were workshopped to a state where they would ragdoll for a little bit, then stand up again and keep going, and if they ever got too close, they would deal damage to you. Since I had added in a melee weapon, I needed to work around this, so I created a delay on the deal damage event, a delay that would re-trigger every time they took damage. And if the player managed to get out of range before the delay finishes, it would also abort and not deal damage, so melee functions in this game. I also added that they can die, as I wanted them to drop the final resource, and since picking up items in combat can be a hassle, I just made a simple vacuum effect for the flower souls. All that's left now is to interact with the altar, bring back the day, despawn all of the flowermen, and restart the cycle. If I bring back this assignment for the portfolio course, I have several zones planned out already, like a beach, mountains, some fields and a deep dark forest, which I would expand and make this whole thing an island. But for now, this is what I've made. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.